It is an issue that I have worked on in many processes of international processes mostly. But also from my political work in Latin America, for instance. And I think an encouragement really to see Oxfam take up the issue of feminist economy. And I don't necessarily think that we have thought how radical such a proposal is on the African continent, nor have we put a lot of effort in actually thinking about what it means, what it entails, why it is an alternative to the economic models that have been proposed. It extends beyond solidarity economy. It extends between just accommodating women within an already oppressive economic system. It moves us beyond just thinking about how women are going to be included in the economy, but offers an opportunity to re-envision the type of economy in which everybody, not just women, this is the radical thing, but framed from a feminist perspective.
So to me, that would be Black economic transformation, where my pigmentation or people of color and their pigmentation doesn't dictate the kind of life and the kind of opportunities that you have access to.
We're all experiencing what it is to exist at the margins in different ways. So that is very important in kind of helping conceptualize how we go forward. I think that kind of solidarity is important in this work, and healing. It's almost like therapy, because a lot of the time we work in spaces where we're alone in fighting the fight.
It's not just about reproducing knowledge, but like the knowledge production is embedded in struggle, okay? And also, I think an even more difficult thing is futures, what kinds of futures that we want, and can we actually experiment with them now without thinking of them as like a 2050 vision, right? And I think that part is far more difficult to imagine beyond our current setup.
How women on a practical basis are creating livelihoods out there. So how do we take gender-based violence, and also we know that we've seen it, that one of the reasons that women don't leave abusive relationships is because they're always thinking, how will I survive? So we need to think of ways, I'm convinced about this, we need to think of ways of creating those livelihoods. So that goes beyond the education of me knowing that, oh, if I get beaten up, then I can go to the police station, I can report, I can do all of those things. But in the end, if I have children, they have to eat. Or even if it's just me, and it doesn't matter what kind of partner I have, I still need to survive. But so for me, that marriage, that link, creating consistently with awareness and consciousness that kind of intersectionality that says we need a marriage in these two things, because educating on one and missing out on the other, then we're going to have problems. So I see it as a solution more than anything, that you must speak about the economy continuously, insert it in the conversations continuously, and not get tired of it's too big, it's money, it's framed in certain ways. We need to do the hard work of unpacking, analyzing, and really trying to understand, like we've done with all the other things.
For economists, not specifically like female economists or economists that are interested in these type of things, I think it's important for traditional economists, so that's like white men, the preferred Black men and whatnot. It's important for them to know that this is not just a discussion that must be had amongst themselves, that this is a discussion that must be had with women at the forefront. So in order to transform an economy and in order to have a functioning economy, we need to have an economy that works for everyone. So in order to do that, we need to realign the scales. We need to flip things the other way and start to think of new ways to do things. So for economists that are not here, for women who are organizing that are not here, we need to deliberately have conversations about how we transform the economy, about taking those who are at the bottom and flipping things and bringing them to the fore.
we need to strengthen our argument and we need to debate it, because when we come and present to a national government that this is what the economy should look like, they're going to intellectually spar with us. So it's important for us to be in that room, to have our little fights, to rework and workshop everything, so that the day we bring in the framework saying this is what the economy is, we can stand by it and say, no, you're wrong for these reasons, you're right for these reasons, because we need buy-in from the wider society.
Step one is acknowledging that perhaps we should put it all away, start from fresh, reconceptualize what it is that we want. And I think a lot of people, the problem in South Africa, a lot of people say, oh, we've got an implementation problem in a number of arenas. But I actually think it's a failure to be able to conceptualize the problem in the first place. If you can't implement it, surely you've misconceptualized the problem in the first place. So this kind of meeting allows us to step back and say, okay, what is the problem? What are the various different multidimensional ways and pathways to developmental outcomes for women that we want?
How do we take all of that contextual analysis and really translate into the lives of women so that women get to understand, are able to name, and because they know what's going on, right? But it's just sometimes the articulation of, oh, there's power at play here. Then that's not always the most obvious thing to do. So you need to frame it, contextualize it, think about the context so that it's easily relatable, translatable, so that people get to understanding.
I think the most important thing that is needed is first the recognition of how much we need to learn what feminist economy is. And secondly, to identify the already existing spaces for our schooling and our organizing in which we could make sure that feminist economic perspectives are present, and also to re-inspire women rights and feminist activists to see this as an important part of a new vision for the world we want.